Welcome everybody to Kitchenorama. We all made through the first week of January 2021. Excited to be here with you guys again with a very fresh and first recipe for 2021. This is Baigan ka Bharta or spicy mashed eggplants. All the ingredients you need for this recipe are right here. This is absolutely gluten-free, vegan, and totally delicious. Now, have you ever been to a grocery store where you've seen these perfectly curvy eggplants and wondered, what can I make with these? Well, I was there doing the same thing. I still went ahead and picked these up, and I am going to make something that I really love. It's called Baigan ka Bharta. I washed them, wiped them off, and I'm going to take a small knife and start putting some vertical cuts on them. As you see, I go from top to bottom. It's not too deep, but good enough to create a little slit where I can start putting some cloves of garlic in there. Now, if you're using smaller ones, you can put roughly about 2 cloves in each slit. But if it's a big one, you can just put 1. So that's, if you've made 4 slits, roughly about 4 to 8 cloves of garlic in each one. Now, why are we doing this? We are going to be baking these eggplants. Yes, the hint is the baking tray on which I have these eggplants sitting. When you bake, you're going to be baking these garlic cloves along with the eggplants, and you will have this awesome garlicky flavor already into the flesh of the eggplant that gives that awesome taste and aroma to your dish. Now, once all my slits are done, I am going to, as you can see, they're all nice and stuffed up. I'm just going to take some cooking oil and I'm going to start brushing them all over these eggplants. Now, I remember one of my friends would jokingly mess with me saying that, "Oh, are you ready to massage your eggplants?" And I was like, "Oh, that's funny, haha." So I go ahead and do that. Perfect. And once my eggplants are perfectly coated with oil, I'm also greasing my baking tray. I'm not using a foil, I'm not using anything else, just a plain baking tray. I'm going to bake this at 450°F for roughly about 35 to 40 minutes based on your oven. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my Instant Pot going on saute mode, and once it's warming up, I add roughly about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. And once my oil warms up, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds and 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. Once these seeds settle down and they stop spluttering, I'm going to use a little spoon, spread them around, and then I have some chopped onion. I have 1 large chopped onion. I finely chopped it so that it disappears after cooking into the dish and does not really stand out. I'm adding roughly about 1 tablespoon of salt here. I want the onions to get caramelized and not have any leftover raw taste. You always want to make sure your onions are chopped really fine for this dish. I'm adding 3 to 4 green chilies chopped. Now, this is because I like my dishes to be extra spicy. This is totally optional. You do not have to do this if you are not very keen on having hot or spicy. Roughly about a minute or 2. And once my onions have caramelized, and as you can see, they've become translucent and golden brown at the edges, I'm going to add 1 medium tomato chopped, and I'm going to give it a good stir. Keep it mixing, making sure nothing sticks to the bottom. And then after that is the time for your spices. Half tablespoon of turmeric, half tablespoon of red paprika, another half tablespoon of salt, half tablespoon of coriander powder. This is absolutely a simple, delicious, and healthy recipe. Quick fix for weekday dinners or weekends. You are not going to regret making this. This dish is gluten-free, vegan, nut-free. Masala looks almost done. 1 last ingredient to go in. Half to 1 tablespoon of garam masala if you have it, or any curry powder would do it. You want to stay away from any curry powder that has very strong taste like biryani masala or chicken masala or all those kind of stuff. This is any regular vegetable curry masala you have. Put a lid back on, roughly cook it about another minute or so, and you can start seeing that your masala is coming together. At this point, I'm adding roughly about 1 to 1/2 cup of frozen peas. A lot of people will skip this step. I totally love as many vegetables as I can have in my dishes. If I'm cooking vegetarian, I need to have more veggies in there. So roughly about 5 more minutes on saute mode, and then I'm going to turn my Instant Pot off. Meanwhile, you can see that my eggplants are completely cooked, baked. I'm going to use a little knife and a fork to kind of cut the edges off. Now, one thing to remember, if you feel your eggplants have not baked, they're raw a little bit, you can always toss them in again into the oven and bake them for roughly about 5 to 10 more minutes. And you can see the skin just starts peeling off. And it is so easy. You really want to peel the skin. We're not going to be using the skin, we just need the flesh of the eggplant. And I'm also going to start taking out those baked garlic cloves. Now I have skinned my eggplants and I have also kept my garlics on one side. I'm going to use the same knife and I'm going to start chopping nice and hot. Be very careful, you don't want to burn yourself. If you want to let your eggplants sit out for some time so they come to room temperature, that's totally fine too. And if you don't want to throw them back into the oven, but you're still on the fence if they are baked completely, don't worry about it. That's where Instant Pot comes into play to save the day. Yes, we are going to be putting these mashed eggplants into the Instant Pot and cooking roughly about 4 minutes. And once you've chopped them into small pieces, use the back of a fork or a regular masher you have to mush up your eggplants. I am not turning my Instant Pot on at this point. My masala is still warm and nice and steamy. I'm going to be using all the mashed eggplants and I'm going to mix it in together. And while I was doing that, I've also mashed my baked garlic. And this is the best part. All this garlic gives that awesome, amazing taste and aroma to your dish. I feel like all the ingredients that go in this recipe only complement, can't twist my tongue well today. All the other ingredients just complement the hero or the subject of this recipe, which is the eggplants. They blend in so well together to highlight the texture and the taste. And you have one perfect combined dish here. I'm gonna give it a good stir. Let all the masala become one with your mushed eggplants. At this point, you can taste a little bit, check for your condiments, adjust any spices you need. And once that's done, go ahead, turn the lid back on, pressure valve sealed, and cook it on manual mode for 4 minutes. Now my eggplants were baked very well. I'm still gonna cook it for 4 minutes. But if your eggplants were not cooked well, you can increase the time to roughly about 6 minutes. Take the seal off, and after 4 minutes, your absolutely delicious, spicy, mashed eggplants are ready to be served. Now these eggplants or Baigan ka Bharta can be served with naan, roti, with some chopped onions, some lemon slices, and a good drizzle of ghee. If you're enjoying these recipes, don't forget to subscribe.